Hello there and welcome to ADcraft. I'm back in the futuristic world today with another new build for you to go with the other ones in the series. If you are new to the channel, please do take a second to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ding dong the notification bell so that you can keep up to date with any new builds that come in here. And now I've marked out an area just by the other build over here, and let's get on with it. The idea for this base was to do something significantly bigger than the previous builds that I'd done and bring in some of the ideas of the circles and the rings that I'd used in the cyber pyramid. So I decided to go big on this and created basically a donut with an interior hole of 17 and an exterior diameter of 39, and then used a bit of world edit to duplicate that up for the top and the bottom, and then create a number of these rings moving it into the right place. Now the white itself just looked a bit plain, so I added in some cyan terracotta around the edge to echo the first build, which used the cyan terracotta, and then also the cyan stained glass around to create these glass supports holding up the build to give it a little bit of structure. That left the big donut hole in the middle, and so with these builds, what else could I do but top it with a giant sphere? And then I built out some walkways on a kind of rotational symmetrical level, just connecting up this big central tower to make sure that you could get access to each and every one of the levels and get access to the big sphere itself. To add a bit more structural integrity to the build, I used something that I've been using on the other builds in the series, which is end rods as almost a super strong alloy to hold things together and hold things up. So added a whole bunch of end rods, both for lighting because they look fantastic in the dark, and also to like I say, just hold the whole thing together. I then decided that I was going to tie this into the environment with a little bit of landscaping, and the final thing that I wanted to do was to break up these big white areas in each of the rings. So on top of the rings I added some cyan concrete just for that splash of colour, with some sea lanterns in there for some extra lighting, which really finished off the build. In the vanilla textures now, we can have a look at the finished build, and the concrete adds a real nice touch there, the cyan concrete along with the cyan terracotta and cyan glass. All of the textures do still work really well together, so this will work whether you use a resource pack or not. And now let's have a look at the build in shaders. Now that the build is finished, I'm really happy with how this fits in with the other builds. It is different, but to me it's different in a good way. It pulls together some of the similar themes and actually gives a new direction that some of the builds in this area can go. It ties in the rings with the spheres and the domes as we look at it with the background of the builds from the previous episodes. Go check those out if you haven't already, and we'll just have a very quick fly through this because there is considerably more interior space in this build. So if you did want this as your main base, then that would work very well. And it's basically, as long as you can get the diameters right for the circles, it's not actually that difficult. There's nothing too complicated in here. It's just a fair bit of grind to actually get this done. So we've got these different layers, we've got them all connected through the domes at the sides coming up to the miniature domes, and then this big sphere on top, which is consistent with the same size spheres around in the other builds, and you get a fantastic view of the landscape from up here. Really atmospheric, and yeah, very pleased with how this has turned out in the end. So we just drop down to the floor. And so yeah, the thing for me that pulled it together finally was just that splash of colour with that cyan concrete to go with the cyan terracotta and cyan glass. And now just what I'll do is pop on the nighttime and show you the build in the dark. It is when it's dark that this build really comes to light. the cyan concrete on the top with the sea lanterns in just absolutely pops out at you and just gives you enough visual interest to break up the big circles that we had that were white of the quartz. And just, yeah, there's a view over here where when you get the moon just behind it, looking through that just looks incredible. Really happy with how this one turned out as well, and really pleased with how the overall world is pulling together. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see more of these. I do have some more planned, so hoping to bring those to you soon. Please do also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ding dong that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And do leave also a like and a comment, because that really does help the channel too, so that would be really appreciated. And with that being said, all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on ADcraft.